Hi everyone, welcome to Art with Miss Lynn. So we are working on drawing a baby owl, and in the part 1 of the video I already drew out the owl using pencil. Right now I'm going to use Sharpie to trace over it, but not just tracing the lines like solid smooth lines. Let's talk about texture. There are many ways to create texture, right? And there are many different kind of textures there. So for animal like owl, it has a lot of feather, so it will feel very fluffy or furry or puffy, right? So those are kind of like the texture that we want to show. And texture, we could create texture using lines. So for the owl, when I trace over it, you can kind of see some of the textures, different kinds of lines that I did to create more like a feathery feeling. So when I trace, I'm not going to draw a smooth straight line. Instead, I'm going to use a lot of broken dashed lines, kind of like this, to show the feather or the fluffiness of this owl, and curving around the direction where the eyes are coming out, or the eyebrows going out toward both sides, right? And do some smaller sharp lines like this. Because the center of the owl is right here, so the lines are kind of going toward the outside around. Alright, you can already feel the puffiness of the fluffiness of this owl. For the beak, it would be normal, like that. Eyes, you could do the same regular eye with smooth, solid lines. But almost everything else is more like broken pencil or broken marks. So for the feather, the belly, same thing, using broken lines like this. With the wing, you can have the lines kind of closer together. Right? And then top of the head. The ear. Okay. And then for the claw, it's just regular, solid, filled-in lines. And let's show some feather on the belly. So again, I'm following the form or the shape of the owl. So you see the lines curving from one side, from the top to the bottom, and then slowly going toward the other way. So the center would be more straight like this, vertical, but then slowly turning. Curving up. Alright. If I want the belly to be more obvious, the outline, you could make the lines a little bit darker here. We'll go over it a little bit more, because after adding these lines it looks a little bit confusing, right? So that's how we use the marker or outliner to trace the owl. Okay. Now I'm going to draw the branch with a skinnier Sharpie. And I realized I drew the branch kind of big. so I shrink it down a little bit. And then once you finish, make sure you erase all the pencil marks before you add any coloring to your picture. So clean it up so it will look really neat. And then if you decide to color this, it will look really nice with oil pastel, because oil pastel is great for layering and creating texture. But you could do that same, do the same with color pencil. But there's something with oil pastel that creates the texture much more vibrantly and obvious because of the thickness of the pastel. Okay. Now if you are coloring, so feel free to add some colors to this. If you are not coloring, you can also turn this into a black and white pencil sketching. Then you didn't have to trace it at the beginning, but it could be a black and white drawing with just using pencils, right? And doing a lot of the lines that we just used for tracing with the marker. You just do a lot of shading and a lot of broken lines like this to add in some gray and dark areas kind of around the owl, and adding a little bit shadow where the eyebrow and the eye would be, or underneath the eye, and even down here a little bit of shadow. And for shading the beak and the claw, it's just kind of like dark shading and then lighter at the middle, so make it look like a shine. Okay, so there's different ways to finish your drawing. I hope you have fun. See you next time.